Well, for the third time in the last month or so, MSNBC is coming under fire for comments by one of its hosts. This time, Al Sharpton, who took some comments by Fox's Bill O'Reilly about the passing of Nelson Mandela out of context. On a nearly nightly basis, on nearly every show, that cable network seems to have a singular obsession with trying to tear down Fox News. Whether it's the daytime programming or primetime, MSNBC appears to be consumed. Why? Are there any other examples of one media outlet being so obsessed with another? Joining us now with some thoughts on that, Noah Rothman, an editor for the news blog Mediaite. Jim Pinkerton is a contributing editor and writer for the American Conservative magazine. He is also a Fox News contributor. It's a little bit, Jim, like, the Washington Post every day writing an op-ed or something about the New York Times, with the exception that the Washington Post actually has influence and has a lot of well-informed people who turn to it for news.
Right. I think, look, what MSNBC has concluded is if you can't be the most powerful name in news, as the polls show and surveys show that Fox News is regarded by the American people as the most powerful name in news, then the next best thing is, I guess they think, is to attack the most powerful name in news. Maybe some of the notoriety will help them or something. It's certainly cheaper than sending reporters anywhere since they don't have any reporters. So they just simply look down the street and say, make fun of Fox. I think the problem there, and since you mentioned the Washington Post, the problem that MSNBC has is that Fox is doing so well. This was the front page of the style section of the Washington Post today. It's a very pretty picture of our colleague Megyn Kelly profiled. I'm sure it killed the mainstream media to have to acknowledge that Megyn Kelly has emerged as a major television star now. She was on Jay Leno the other night. Meanwhile, I guess Al Sharpton is just going to sit there and throw spitballs from MSNBC.
And it's not just Sharpton, Noah. It's Ed Schultz. It's Rachel Maddow, Chris Matthews, Lawrence O'Donnell. They all spend a good deal of their airtime talking about Fox News.
Yeah, it feels like it's accelerated a little bit in the last couple of weeks. And you mentioned it's just about every show has a clip of Fox, and they put it up and almost offer very little commentary. You mentioned Ed Schultz, and Ed Schultz is becoming the equivalent of MSNBC's media buzz, with the media consisting entirely of Fox News. Yesterday, he played a clip of Sean Hannity with almost no commentary. It was about a 90-second clip of the program, and just offered it up there and said, this is what they're doing. So yeah, it's become a singular obsession, as you said.
And this is the outlet, Noah, that, in the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin case, for instance, did some very deceptive editing of, actual events to try to portray one side of a controversy.
Yeah, it was a local NBC outlet, and it was played nationally on NBC and MSNBC. I think they've learned a pretty tough lesson from that. That was almost criminal and misleading editing. What happened to O'Reilly in this case was also inappropriate. I wouldn't go so far as to call it criminal. It was very misleading, and I don't believe that they're ever going to go so far again as to try to manipulate public opinion in a criminal case like the George Zimmerman issue does. But to impugn their opponents in Fox News, absolutely.
So then we've got the other big media topic of the day, Jim, and that is this budget agreement. It seems to be getting a lot of positive press. Why?
Well, I think Howard Kurtz put it well at Fox. He said, look, the mainstream media love bipartisan deals, just inherently. That's just kind of what they think is a good thing to them. However, the wrinkle here, the difference is that the architect of this deal on the Republican side, of course, is Budget Chairman Paul Ryan, who's probably the most respected figure